Welcome to Knicks Fandom. This is an independent New York Knicks fan-based podcast, which was created by fans for fans. The show is hosted by L.A. Blackwell, Danny, and Flo. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the Knicks, the NBA, and various other sports-related topics. Join us. It's going to be a heck of a ride.
Guess who's back? Back again. Knicks Fandom. Tell your friend, guess who's back, guess who's back, guess who's back. It's Knicks Fandom, guys, episode 62. This is our first episode of the New Year. As always, I'm your host, L.A. Blackwell. Happy New Year to our listeners. Happy New Year to our co-hosts. How you been doing, Danny D?
I'm good, L.A. I'm good. I'm better than them Knicks, I tell you that, brother.
Don't take much to be better than Knicks right now. Oh, as always, Happy New Year to you too, Flo. How you been doing, Flo?
LA, Happy New Year. Welcome back. It's good to be here.
Same here as always. Thank you too, guys. Got to start things off first. All right, off the top, got to talk about the All-Star break is coming up. NBA trade deadline. Got a lot of things going on. Let's get right into it with NBA Talk. All right, listeners, they officially recently named the 2000 NBA Starting All-Star selections, which is going to be on February 17th. For the East, they named Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kawhi Leonard, Kemba Walker, and Kyrie Irving. For the West, it was LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Paul George, James Harden, Stephen Curry. We're going to give you our own top 5 All-Star selections, as well as our reserve for the East and Western teams. Let's start with your top 5 selection for the East, starting with you, Danny D.
And for the East, I have Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kawhi Leonard, and Joel Embiid.
All right, great minds think alike. I got pretty much the same selection. Any particular reason why you picked those, Danny D?
Like I said, we was looking before. I went for Kemba because Kemba, even though Kemba numbers slowed down, in the beginning of the season, Kemba was killing. He was having 60-point game, and he was rarely carrying the load for Charlotte.
Yeah, he did. He did a good job, man. He got a little tired as the season went along, but you expect that. He's a smaller guy. That's going to happen. How about you, Flo? Who's your top East 5 All-Star selections?
So, LA, I got Kemba Walker. I got Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid.
Ben Simmons, my man. Go ahead, Flo.
The Greek Freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Kawhi Leonard. That's my starting 5.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. Kawhi got healthy enough to get into that All-Star selection. That's good for him. Any particular reason why you picked those guys, Flo?
Kemba, again, having a great season. We all know he can ball, so I don't see why everybody's so surprised by his talent. We know he can ball. Ben Simmons, you know, like I said, LA, based on the rules, you got to have 2 guards and 3 front court players. Ben Simmons is considered a guard according to, all-star rules. So I picked him. And Joel Embiid, got to trust the process. And the Greek Freak, again, having an MVP type season every year. So, and Kawhi, finally healthy. And he's in a new country and like enjoying himself. So,
yeah, hopefully he stay along for Toronto's sake. But that's pretty much the same selection I picked there, guys. Looking at it, listeners, y'all can let us know what you think. For the Western Conference, who did you pick for your starting 5, Flo?
Western Conference, I got Steph Curry, James Harden, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Kevin Durant.
Okay. What's the main reason you picked those guys?
For Harden, reigning MVP. He's putting up MVP-type numbers again. LeBron James, this Laker team is going nowhere without LeBron James. Anthony Davis again, another guy putting the Pelicans back on the map. KD and Curry, that's what I think of when I think of the Warriors. Especially this is Curry's team, but again, Durant is making the game easy for them.
Well, I hear where you come from. I got a little bit different selections, but I want to hear what you think. But Danny, do you think you did, Flo? Who you pick for your top 5 in the West?
For the top 5 in the West, I got James Harden, LeBron James, Paul George, Kevin Durant, and I went with Luka Doncic.
And what's the reason for Luka Doncic?
Because he was like the number 2, basically number 2 and number 3 vote by the fans. So I had to go with my man Luka, man.
Okay, and that's where we talk about is off the air. That's where we had a little confusion with this. It's like, if you're gonna pick the best individual player, or you're gonna pick who the fans really want to see, or you're gonna put whose team is doing best. And that's where there's a lot of confusion with this. Because to me, I like Doncic. He playing well, but I can't put him on Steph Curry. I really can't. Now with his numbers and the team standards that they have overall. So for me, I had Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Paul George, and James Harden and Stephen Curry. The guy I was kind of iffy about was LeBron James. I thought about Anthony Davis. He actually having a better season, plus the injury factor. But like I stated before off the air, guys, he was losing games. And you doing worse than the Lakers doing with LeBron on the bench. But you actually playing pretty much every game, you can't get the starting nine for me. Sorry about the AD. Can't do it. Won't do it. For the Eastern Reserves, who do you have there, Flo?
Okay, for the Eastern Reserves, I had Victor Oladipo, Bradley Beal, your boy in Orlando, Nikola Vucevic, Blake Griffin, Kyrie Irving, Andre Drummond, and then the last pick was between Jimmy Butler and D'Lo. I went with D'Lo.
Okay, shout out to Brooklyn Nets, giving them a little shout out over there. Well, how'd you pick this Eastern Reserves there, Flo, overall?
Well, Vucevic is having a great season in Orlando. This guy is an all-star. He deserves it. He's putting up great numbers. He's a stud, legitimate stud. Blake Griffin, he's become a leader in Detroit. I think Blake Griffin is a fan of the show, LA, because ever since you've been breaking on this guy, man, he's definitely putting up all-star numbers, man, and he's healthy.
Yeah, it's not playoff time yet. Wait until that comes.
With Kyrie again, Kyrie's something special to watch. You know, he's missed a lot of games this year. Something special to watch. And then with Drummond, this guy's putting up double-double. So the only thing here, I think, with Oladipo getting hurt, most likely, I think Jimmy Butler will probably be the perfect replacement for Oladipo. So,
okay, make a lot of sense. I hear where you're coming from. Who you pick for your Eastern Reserves there, Danny D? Thanks, Flo.
I got Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic, Rudy Gobert, my main man Dame Dollar, Russell Westbrook. Also, this is reserved for East?
For East, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Apologize, listeners. Apologize. I went with Blake Griffin, Nikolai Vucevic, Pascal Siakam from the Raptors, Ben Simmons, Bradley Beal, and I had my main man D'Lo coming through.
Okay, I know it's one thing y'all both didn't pick was Middleton. Any particularly why you didn't put Middleton on your team there, Danny D?
I was gonna go with Middleton, but then it was between Middleton and D'Angelo Russell, and I had to give the nod to D'Angelo Russell because they've been playing awesome for the last 20 games. They've been killing.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too. When I looked at my reserves, I was going back and forth with him as well. Because at first Russell didn't make it, but then I said, well, he got the Greek freak. He's going to get a little points taken away from that, and Russell snuck in because of that. I hear where you're coming from, Danny D. My reserve for the East was Blake Griffin. I'm glad I could help motivate that guy like that. Vucevic, he was my other reserve. Oladipo, one of my guys, is also. Ben Simmons. All right, this is the LA Blackwell All-Star squad right here, guys. Then I had Bradley Beal, played very well since John Wall went down. I don't know what that means for John Wall down the road. But I also had Buddy Hield. He snuck in there. I think he deserved to get a shot. He's been averaging 20 points a game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. I want to reward him. I feel like him and De'Aaron Fox played very well, and I should give him a little nod. That was the other guy, but Oladipo being hurt, I kind of gave that spot to Jimmy Butler, even though I really don't want to. But that's where I'm kind of leaning right now. If not, then I'll probably do it D'Angelo Russell to take that spot, basically. But I'll probably get a nod to Russell, to be honest with you. So if Russell would take that spot since Oladipo's out. For the Western Reserves, who you got there, Danny D? Starting with you.
Western Reserves, I got Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic, Rudy Gobert, Dame Dollar, Russell Westbrook, and then I went to Marcus Rosen and Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. One thing I was noticing why you picked Towns, I mean, he having a monster year. The wins and the losses didn't really factor into you with that?
No, I think he's been playing good because I thought about it, and it was going to go down to him and LaMarcus Aldridge, and I just went with Karl Anthony Towns because I put DeRozan in.
Okay, I got you. I did the opposite. I didn't pick DeRozan, so I gave LaMarcus a 9. But definitely where you're coming from. Nice squad overall. How about you, Flo? Who's your Western All-Star reserves?
Dame Dollar, DeMar DeRozan.
No surprise with Dame.
Paul George, Nikolai Jokic, Drew Holiday, LaMarcus Aldridge, and then my final selection was between Karl Anthony Towns and Derrick Rose, and I went with Derrick Rose.
Okay. Any particular reason why you picked that selection? And one point why you picked Derrick Rose overall?
Because with Karl Anthony Towns, when Jimmy was on the team, he wasn't producing as much. Once the T-Wolves traded Jimmy Butler to Philly, that's when you saw the Karl Anthony Towns that we knew that dominated in college. With Derrick Rose, he was putting up consistent numbers since the season began.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. I hear you coming from. For me, my Western reserves was Anthony Davis, Nikola Jokic, Westbrook, Lillard, Tobias Harris. I wanted to give him a 9. I think he deserved it. LaMarcus Aldridge. And the guy kept going back and forth was Rudy Gobert or Doncic. I thought Doncic is really who the fans want to see. I thought he really looked well in there, but it's his first time. He can afford to miss it this year. I said Rudy Gobert because Mitchell hasn't been playing that well. To me, he's been injured a lot, and Gobert kind of been holding the fort down in the meantime. So I wanted to give him a 9 because they're actually winning more games at the end of the day. Hopefully Doncic get it next year is the way I would vote for it if he put up good numbers again. But listeners, let us know what you think regarding All-Star selection. Did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Tell us where we went wrong or where we went right. For the next segment, guys, I want to talk about, also in this segment, I should say, I want to talk about Carmelo Anthony, who was recently traded to former Knicks. He was traded from the Houston Rockets in exchange for cash to the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls will waive or trade Melo before the February 7th trade deadline, lead sources told ESPN. What you thought about Melo being on the move again? Starting with you, Flo.
Well, it's unfortunate because, again, this guy's supposed to be a future Hall of Famer, and it's like teams are just struggling to figure out what to do with him. And it's really a shame because I don't think there's any role for him in Chicago right now because, Chicago's rebuilding. Tough situation for Melo. Very, very tough.
I hear what you're saying. It's like a man with no ship, man. Just out there in the ocean looking for somebody to pick him up. How about you, Dan D? What you think about Melo being on the move again?
It's more Melo being on the move, but then I said it's self-inflicted because I told you what my biggest beef with was with Melo and with the Knicks. When he had the time to come to the Knicks and he took greed over being a team player, that was very upsetting. You had the collective bargaining in. You were going to get your money regardless, Melo, because you're a great player. The money's going to come, Melo, and if you took money over the value of the team, and that's why I get upset at Melo. So I say it's self-inflicted. Sad. You're still a millionaire. I don't feel that sorry for you. You'll be okay.
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from. And the thing with Melo, he's kind of like his own worst enemy. Twice in his career, 3 times I think is really significant regarding Melo in his career. One, I would say back with Detroit, if they would have selected him over Darko Milicic, I think he had a whole different career. He'd have learned defense. He'd have learned winning earlier. He'd have been a lot different player than me. The other thing, like we stated before, he came a year too early with the Knicks instead of just waiting for free agency. That hurt him because, like you always stated, that team was really tore up once they got rid of like Gallinari and Chandler and the picks. That hurt that team overall where he could have came to. And then I saw an article by K.C. Johnson of the Chicago Tribune this weekend. And they were talking about when he had a chance to go to the Bulls back in 2014. And looking at that, I kind of think he made the wrong move. I mean, he was trying to be loyal and he was trying to get his money. But the team he would have went to, he had been starting behind with Derrick Rose, Ty Gibson, Jakeem Noah before he became a bum, Jimmy Butler, even though it's not the Jimmy Butler that we see today, but he was starting to really get better that year after that. But that would have been the starting lineup with Melo, who actually been going against Cleveland that year. When, with LeBron and all those things, that move they made. That'd have been a nice little team that he could have seen going against each other. And I want to say, looking back at that now, do you think he should have made that move and left the Knicks and go to the Chicago Bulls for those 4 years? Or you think it would have happened like this anyway? It really didn't matter. Start with you, Flo.
You know what? He was better off making that move going to Chicago because even his college coach, Jim Boeheim, stated that the best fit for Melo during that time was going to Chicago. But I don't know if you guys remember that controversy where when they were building their arena, which ended up becoming called the United Center, He came in to visit. They gave him a walkthrough. Remember, people were upset with Derrick Rose because he didn't meet with Melo during that time when he was actually in the weight room lifting weights. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I remember that because he's like, hey, if you want to come here, that's on him. I'm not really here to recruit. And like Ty Gibson was basically the main recruiter at that time. I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, Melo had his opportunity to leave New York. Don't get it twisted. I mean, I'm a big Melo fan, and I'm happy he re-signed with the Knicks. But in hindsight, he was better off leaving New York to go to Chicago. So then, by that time, we could have expedited the rebuilding process, where we wouldn't be in the situation where we are today.
Yeah, I agree, because having Melo made you win too many games to really get any good draft selections. It's like you was bad enough not to be the championship material, but you was too good to be in the lottery doldrums. So you're in that no man's land. That's one of the worst spots to be in. You're in limbo. What else you want to tell Danny D?
Yeah, I think it would probably have turned out the same way, depending. But I guess he still would have been in Chicago, and Chicago would have been happy that the All-Star would have came out a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? He would have been working with the young guys, and they would have continued to lose, and he can point figures instead of himself.
Yeah, that's the thing. You never know. But that's the NBA world right there, guys. Hopefully Melo finds a team that can help him. They told him he might go to the Lakers. Time will tell, as I like to say. But like you said, Danny D, he really got to change his game and watch some of the stuff Paul Pierce did at the end. And, try to be more of an all-around player. If he's not going to do that, he's not going to find the right spot for him. Because after a while, it's not the teams. You got to look at yourself in the mirror to me. On another note, we got to talk about Victor Oladipo injury. Had a ruptured quadriceps tendon in his right knee. A bad-looking injury, and they said reportedly going to be out for the rest of the year. Definitely don't like to see that. I'm a big fan of Victor Oladipo. The injury reportedly worse than the actual ACL tear. So what are your thoughts, guys? Starting with you, Flo.
Listen, LA, I know you're a big fan of Victor Oladipo. I'm a big fan of Victor Oladipo, especially going back to college at the University of Indiana. I wish him a speedy recovery. I saw the injury. I was definitely shocked, But again, wish him speedy recovery. I think he'll come back better than ever. It's going to set that Pacers team probably at least a year or two, because I think it's going to take Oladipo at least 2 years to get back to that level. Almost the same situation with Paul George when he got hurt during the Team USA scrimmage where he broke his leg. So,
yep, definitely wish a speedy recovery. How about you, Danny D? What you had about the Oladipo injury?
Oh, man, a budding star, man, an all-star last year, things like that. It's just very unfortunate the injury came because they really, really need him. And that guy's a leader, improved his game so much, man. The speedy recovery, and I hope all is well. See you next year, Oladipo. Not too soon. Just get well, my brother.
That's it. Let's go right into the next segment, guys. Transition real quick to fast break. Y'all guys brief ideas regarding some of these teams and these players, what you think about them reported to be on the trading block. Starting with the Lakers, they said Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, and Lonzo Ball are reportedly all being shipped around the NBA. What do you think about this starting development? Starting with you, Danny D.
This should have been happened. I don't know why they're sitting in line. They're not going to trade Kyle Kuzma, but that's the good person they're probably going to get more interest. It'd be a fool to trade him and things like that. But like we said, Magic, looking like a real idiot right now because he got rid of D'Angelo Russell over Lonzo Ball. A guy who can't. I haven't heard LeVar speaking at all. Have you heard LeVar say anything in the last year? LeVar Ball say anything about his son Lonzo and his horrific play?
Nah, I just think he's going to need, like you say, Flo, he needs another team. I really don't think this is going to work out for him over there.
It can't. And the thing, so that's how I said, so Magic, you get rid of D'Angelo Russell over the thing with Swaggy P and stuff like that. The kid had talent, was basically the same height, had a better jump shot than Lonzo, and you get the hype with the guy. And I'm not knocking on Alonzo. It's just not, like I said, it's not the place for him. He's getting injured and things like that, and it's the competition. It's not for him. It's not. He needs somewhere, a small market team where he can develop and just get time to work on himself and less pressure, because he's not for the limelight. And the same thing with Brandon Ingram. Like we said, there's some places where LeBron can help you out, and these guys aren't ready as yet. LeBron said he needs time. If that was the case, he would have stayed with Andrew Wiggins and those guys and Anthony Bennett. He don't have time, and he doesn't have time to bring Ingram up and also Lonzo. It just is not. It's not a good match right now.
And this is what I always hear every time they talk about how great LeBron is and teams, but you always have to pattern your team around this guy. You always got to break down his team, give it to the young guys, bring in the veterans. It's the same pattern with Miami. That's just the way he plays, you know. He's a dominant player, but he has to have the team set up a certain way. And it really messes up for you in the future because LeBron ain't getting no younger. As you see, he's starting to break down now. And what you want to get, 2 more years and put your team back for 5 years for hopefully a chance at a ring? You ain't beating the Warriors anyway. I don't care if you get AD on this team, you're not beating the Warriors. Not the way them Warriors look in their first game back against the Clippers. They look dominant as ever. So I don't see the purpose of even breaking your team down like this. You're not going to get enough to get over the hump anyway. What else you want to add to this, Flo?
LA, me and D think alike. I got a small market team right now. Here's my trade proposal. Gentlemen, listen to this. Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma to the Orlando Magics for Jerry Grant and Terrence Ross. The money works according to NBA Machine. Gentlemen, what's your thoughts?
Not enough. If you ain't giving me blue checking that, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's all I say. You might need to throw some draft picks and a lot of stuff more in there.
You give me Vucek or something like that, then we can talk. I'm a big fan. I think he would play perfect with LeBron, and I feel like Magic foolishly is not going to try to re-sign this guy, from what I can tell, and they're going to let him. They're going to try to trade him before that February 7th trade deadline. Knicks better start getting on the phone with them. I trade him anybody but my top pick in KP. I would definitely try to go after Vucek, man. Y'all can have the pick after this year, but I'm not giving you this year for him because that guy's a stud, and he's going to play well wherever team he go to next. What you have? What else you want to add, Flo?
No, the reason why I put this out there is because Magic wants expiring contracts. So Jerry Grant, Terrence Ross, they're expiring contracts. Plus, LeBron always wants a shooter. Terrence Ross is a shooter. Now, with the Magics, this will help their team because they finally get their point guard of the future, Lonzo Ball. And then you got some complementary pieces with Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma. And maybe this would convince Vucevic to stay in Orlando, even though I think he's leaving, in my opinion.
No, I hear what you're saying. I just don't think it's enough for LA. It's better for the Magic, but not enough for LA for me.
That's Magic's problem. That's Magic's problem.
I hear you. I hear you coming from with that.
He's the fool that traded D'Lo. That's Magic's problem.
Only thing with D'Lo, though, I don't think he would have produced as well if he stayed with LA. I think kind of like he kind of shot his way out of there. A lot of the players in that locker room might not have trusted him as much. So I don't know if he would still play that well if he had stayed there. But he definitely didn't get enough for him when you look back at it now.
LA,
go ahead, Flo.
One more thing. Del Demps, the GM of the New Orleans Pelicans, I'm telling you right now, do not accept this deal for Anthony Davis. Do not accept this deal. Because you're going to make Magic Johnson look like a genius when he's not. Do not accept this deal for Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would talk to Celtics if I talked to them. That's not enough. That's not enough. Just for Kuzma, I'm not a huge fan of other guys like that. I like Lonzo Ball, but I don't know. He's just going to take a lot more time than I thought originally. So that's not enough for a guy who's already a proven superstar in AD. I'm not going to do that. Another team that put their starters on reporting trading block are Memphis Grizzlies. I know you're a big fan of them, Flo, with Marc Gasol and who's their point guard, guys?
Conley.
Mike Conley Jr.
Thank you, fellas. Mike Conley. No shock there. Anybody that listens to the show know how we felt about Memphis. This is no surprise. This team is often injured. They're an older team. They're very unathletic. It's no shock you had to originally break this team down. We've been saying this for the last couple of seasons on the show. But I'm going to give you first dibs at it, Flo. Tell us what you thought about these guys being reportedly being on the trading block.
Listen, I said it again, listeners. If you listen to the show, I've been saying this since we've been on, since Knicks Fandom was on the air. I've been talking about Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies is my personal punching bag. The reason why, again, you hire Uncle Fizz to coach the team. He got them to the playoffs, even though it was an older team. They lost to the Spurs, and the next season he wanted the youngsters to play. The GM there in Memphis, who used to work for the Celtics by the name of Chris Wallace. Yes, I'm putting your name out there, Chris Wallace. Was trying to put pressure on Fizdale to continue to play the veterans. But again, Fizdale realized his team wasn't going nowhere. So he had some issues with Marc Gasol, and unfortunately, the organization picked Gasol over Fizdale. Okay, whatever. They made their bet. They got to lie with it. Now you got these guys on the trading blocks. When we've been saying from day one since we've been on the air, they're not winning in Memphis. The only way any superstars coming to Memphis is via the draft or via trade. No free agent is coming to Memphis. LA, you've been saying this. D's been saying this.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not a shocker. And by the way, later on in the show, gentlemen, I got a trade for proposal for Mike Conley Jr., by the way.
Okay.
And let me correct that. I'm sorry. I got a trade proposal for Marc Gasol. I'll correct that. Marc Gasol.
All right. Definitely going to ask you about that in a few minutes. Anything else you had there, Danny D, regarding Memphis Grizzlies and they reported putting the players on the trading block?
It's 3 years too late. It should have been It should have been this. And the thing is that now, who wants to take Mike Conley Jr. and $60-something million left on his contract, or old Marc Gasol, who's 34, who gets banged up and shooting threes? Everybody in the beginning of the season, oh man, Grindhouse, they doing their thing. I was like, man, it's only been 5 games. What are y'all talking about? It's 82 seasons in the game. It's only been 5 games. What are y'all talking about?
That's true.
Now, you know what I'm saying? Now you have 2 people. They got people on the team that they want Gary Temple, somebody else. They want other, and they have assets, but the teams don't want these 2. They want the other young assets on the team, and they might have to get rid of the young assets, and then you're going to be stuck with these 2 guys.
No, I totally agree. There's a couple of teams I see that may want to make a move for them, but their money is what's going to kill that. But if I'm Conley, only teams I would look at them is the Magic, Pistons, and Pelicans. In particular, the Pelicans and the Pistons to me. For Gasol, I look at the Celtics, the Rockets, and the Lakers. I think he would fit real well in the Celtics. They need a legitimate big man that can spread the floor. I just don't like Horford playing that position. I also think he would look good for the Rockets with D'Antoni's system. I think he would play very well for them also. The money is the issue. I don't know how you're going to make that work. But what deal you may have potentially for Gasol to step right into that deal, Flo?
The deal I have for Gasol. Let me tell you the deal I have actually for Conley first.
Okay.
All right. For Mike Conley Jr., I have Detroit Pistons to trade Reggie Jackson, power forward John Lewis, and the expiring contractor Reggie Bullock for Mike Conley Jr.
That word cap-wise?
Yes, it does work cap-wise. According to the NBA trade machine, I tried it out. It definitely works. What's your take, gentlemen?
I don't know if they take Reggie because he's been playing so bad, but they really want to get rid of him. They might have to throw a pick in there. I would definitely do that from Detroit because those 2 teams, I feel I've been beating a dead horse with that. Orlando, Detroit, y'all need a point guard bad. I mean, y'all need to be looking at the Rucker. Y'all need to look at G League. Y'all need to find something. But y'all need a point guard really bad, them and the Pelicans. So if you could get a vet like that to play along, Blake Griffin and Drummond, I feel sooner or later you got to get rid of Drummond. But in the meantime, that would definitely help you out in the meantime. What else you want to say that, Danny D? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on that one.
I hear you. What else you want to say the other deal there, Flo, that you got for Gasol?
Gasol? Yeah, here's my deal for Gasol. The Charlotte Hornets should trade center Bismack Biyombo, power forward Frank Kaminsky, expiring contract, and a young center Billy Hernan-Gomez for Marc Gasol. Gentlemen, what's your take on this deal, this trade proposal?
I see you going with that to try to keep Kemba there. But I'm not in love with this one just because I think Gasol's too old for that team. And even with those 2 guys there, I don't see them being that great going forward. I wouldn't invest that type of money in Gasol if I'm them. I'd rather go another direction. But I see where you're going with that. What would you think about it, Danny D?
Yeah, like you said, I like to go with somebody a little bit younger. Just a little bit younger.
Yeah, I like Gasol more for like a Houston, a veteran team like that who's like maybe one piece away, or Celtics. I think he would really flourish better with those type of teams. What you want to add to that, Flo?
I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Him with the Celtics. I'm just trying to figure out what would Houston give up to get him. That's what I'm thinking. And also, why would Memphis, trade with another Western Conference team? Why would I want to help out another team like Houston? I would never want to do that. I'd rather reach out to a team in the East on the East Coast.
Yeah, but this team going to lose regardless. They at this point, I can't even look at where these guys going. This is about what's the best deal for your organization. But I hear what you're saying.
Not to cut you off, LA. By the way, Chris Wallace, again, president of basketball operations there in Memphis, he decided to send Chandler Parsons home when he He was ready to play ball, healthy, and everything like that. They gave him some options to go play in the G League. He played 2 games in the G League, and after that, they sent him home. So there's a lot going on in Memphis. And if you're the owner, Robert Parra, you got to make a decision to fire your GM right now, man. Because it's causing too much chaos over there in Memphis. There's too much chaos going on.
No, I hear you. This has been nothing new. We've been talking about this for a while. This team definitely need an enema, and they need to clean it out, man. But I want to go right to our next segment, guys. Thanks a lot for that one. We're going fast break. Let's go and jump right into the Knicks Weekly Roundup. And we're back with Knicks Weekly Roundup. Now, I'm no Nostradamus here, guys. But on the last episode of our show, I said they would lose probably the next 10 games and would determine the next season. Please go back and check that episode out, listeners. And they pretty much lost 10 games in a row, but they would end up losing 12 out of the last 13. And I remember, Flo, you were saying they might not win a game until, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And they did win one measly game. That was on the 4th. And they beat the Lakers without LeBron James. I believe he's out injured at that time. But needless to say, guys, the season has hit the proverbial iceberg, and the next season is officially over before I even reach the All-Star break. What are your thoughts? Starting with you, Danny D.
Man, they're just playing horrible. It's a young team, Fizdale's trying to get these guys together and play. But it's like you said before, we said it's a long season, and it looked like it's going to continue to be that. It's a long season.
Yep. Only bright spot is the draft. That's all we're looking at right now. What you think about it, Flo?
Yeah, right now for the Knicks, they got to sell. Because right now, like you said, LA, we got to look forward to the NBA draft. Hopefully, we get a top 3 pick.
Yep, that's pretty much the only thing we can look for at this point. The Knicks' current record is 10-37. They're currently 14th in the Eastern Conference. As for the Zion watch, as I like to call it, the Knicks had basically the third worst record in NBA. And fellow Knicks fans, that's good. That's the good news. We at least have a chance to pick between 1 and 3 in this upcoming draft. And that's what the Knicks need to pick. Anything less than that is going to have them in big problems. You got a chance to get a legitimate point guard. You got a chance to get Zion. And you got a chance to get, Barrett from that team as well. So got to keep those top 3 picks to me. But let's talk about the last 2 games regarding the Knicks. They recently lost to the Rockets 114-110, and they lost to the Brooklyn Nets 109-99. Let's briefly go over this, guys, starting first with the Houston Rockets. What do you thought about that loss, Danny D, and outstanding player James Harden overall?
What can I say? It was a high-scoring game. James Harden didn't shoot the ball very well. The Knicks, defensively, we were all over the place. And I'm just upset. Even when it came down to the last play, I don't know what they were trying to do. Inbound the ball to get the ball stolen, and it's just play. I didn't like the flow of the game. You had Trier come off the bench and he was doing his thing with 31. But this overall, man, it was a good effort. But we should have won that game. But nah. I didn't like the vibe of the game. Exciting, but still, man. I didn't like how it ended, man. I didn't like how it ended.
No, I know what you're saying, especially at the end when he got the shot over the pick. And then it came out later on where Hardaway Jr. was basically throwing the bus by Trio, said, to a guy on Twitter, which you got to think more than that, telling the guy the play was a broken down play. They're supposed to be a switch, and they didn't switch. So basically threw Hardaway under the bus. And before that, they was cursing at him, telling him to pass the ball. That's what happened when they started losing. You see a lot of dissension in the team. Also, he had Enes Kanter and the issue with Mario Hezonja. When Kanter was out of the huddle, he basically told him to stand the F up and cheer. Seeing a lot of problems come out with the Knicks right now. But regarding this Houston game, what you want to add to that, Flo?
LA, let me mention a couple things here real quick and some stats. But let me go here. Biggest problem here, LA, is something you've been talking about since the beginning of the season. The third quarter, Knicks were outscored 30-15 in that third quarter. All right, that's one issue. Other issues here that's very concerning. Let's go to the stats here real quick. Steals, Rockets had 15, Knicks had 5. Blocks, Rockets had 10, Knicks had 7. Turnovers, Rockets had 12, Knicks had 18. Last but not least, the Rockets went to the free throw line 38 times, as the Knicks went to the free throw line 30 times. Overall, like Danny D mentioned, Alonzo Dre got busy, 31 points, 12 of 18 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 5 of 5 from the foul line, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, unfortunately, a steal, a plus 19 in 32 minutes, and our guy, Mitchell Robinson, 12 points, 5 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from the foul line, a rebound, 1 steal, 3 blocks, plus 12 in 17 minutes. Again, some critical moments. LA, you mentioned the Knicks were up 110 109, and there was some misconfusions. It looked like Hardaway stayed with James Harden, which ended up becoming Eric Gordon becoming wide open and shooting a wide open three-pointer to give the Rockets a lead, a 2-point lead. Then, during a timeout, the play was drawn up, and I was kind of confused. It looked like they drew up a play for Noah Vonleh, and he bobbled the ball. James Harden with an easy steal for a dunk.
No, that's pretty much the game right there, man. That put it right there where it was at. Knicks keep losing. And, Harden doing this thing, he put up some epic numbers. I believe he had like 30-point games, the longest consecutive streak after like Wilt Chamberlain with like 22-plus games. So he's doing this thing. But like you said, Danny D, not the most efficient numbers, but he don't really have that many teammates with Chris Paul being out injured. But you got to nod your head. He basically beat the Knicks by himself. And that was enough to get it done. Ain't much more I'm going to add to that regarding that loss. But, the Knicks got to lose again, make it look bad for your crosstown rivals. And they lost to the Brooklyn Nets. What do you thought about this game, Flo, when they lost to the Brooklyn Nets?
Man, oh, man. No Emmanuel Mudiay, out for 2 weeks, gentlemen, with a shoulder strain. Frank, again, LA, you've been mentioning this. Frank, again, a non-factor in this game. But some key stats here. Rebounding. Nets out-rebounded Knicks 60-33. Assists, Nets had 19, Knicks had 17. And in the free throw attempts, the Knicks went to the foul line 26 times, but the Nets went to the foul line 47 times. But other issues here. Bench points. The Nets outscored the Knicks bench. The Nets bench outscored the Knicks bench 72-48. And Theo Pinson dropped 19 points, 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, 6 of 6 from the foul line, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, 2 steals, a plus 19 in 25 minutes. This is a guy that was on the G League roster playing multiple positions on the G League, starting at the point guard, starting at the 2. I was surprised that he played in this game. Very surprised because, like I said, I was watching him in the G League for the Long Island Nets. Very surprised. And for the Knicks, Lonzo Dre, 13 points, 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3, 3 of 4 from the foul line, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and a plus 5 in 23 minutes. Tough loss for the Knicks.
Yep. Only big thing with that, you had Vonleh play well, 22 and 13. And the biggest thing I looked at him, he basically playing what Porzingis would have been playing. So him to put on those type of numbers looked very good to me. Lance Thomas did the regular Lance Thomas stuff, 26 minutes, 6 points. That ain't going to get it done. But Trey Burke played well, 25 points. They put him on the trading block as well. And some team probably take a push on him. It might be Pelican, it might be Orlando Magic. I don't know going forward. What you think about Danny D and that loss to the Brooklyn Nets?
Yeah, Vonleh played well and things like that, but the Nets just warmed down, especially with the rebounding. I rebound those guys on the rebounding end, and the Nets wanted it more, and that's what happened.
And like you said, Flo, and Napier and Ed Davis is crushing you, man, and Pinson, 17, 18, 19, come on, you ain't winning that game then. You don't deserve to win that game at that point. That's the Knicks in the bottle right there, guys. Nothing really changed since we've been on there. I've been off there, I should say, but, that's the Knicks. Just keep losing. That's all I say. Keep losing at this point. Anything else got for behind the scenes regarding the Knicks there on Flo?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, yes. Yes, I do. I have a news and where we at? Yes. The Westchester Knicks, unfortunately, lost to Sioux Falls Skyforce, 121-113 in Westchester. Again, LA, something you've been harping, and it looked like it's creeping down from the NBA team Knicks to the G League team. The Westchester Knicks, the third quarter, they were outscored in the third quarter, 36-21. the Westchester Knicks were up 66-57. As of right now, gentlemen, I'm going to mention a player, Kadeem Allen, 27 points, 9 of 19 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 7 of 9 from the foul line, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, a turnover, 1 block shot, a +4 in 34 minutes. Some other key stats in this game, gentlemen. The Sioux Falls Skyforks shot 53% from the field, 42 of 80, as the Westchester Knicks shot 44%, 42 out of 95. 3-point shooting. The Skyforks was 16 of 31. They shot 52% from 3, while the Knicks shot 38%, 11 of 29. Free throws. The Skyforks went to the line 33 times, as the Westchester Knicks went to the free throw line 27 times. Assists. Skyforce, 29 assists. The Knicks had 18 assists. And block shots, Skyforce had 6. The Westchester Knicks have 4. Right now, the Westchester Knicks are sliding quickly. They're 19-14. They're in 4th place in the Eastern Conference, 9-7 at home, 10-7 on the road. But I have a little bit of good news for Knicks fans here. The gentleman I mentioned, Kadeem Allen, recently signed a 2-way contract. 6'3", 200 pounds. He's the starting point guard. He started every game for the Westchester Knicks. He's averaging 14 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. So shout out to Kadeem Allen. Definitely deserved that 2-way contract. And, hopefully the Westchester Knicks can pick it up. Unfortunately, they're sliding, but hopefully they'll pick it up.
Yeah, hope they don't keep slipping and slide like the regular Knicks doing. I knew that would affect them sooner or later. But we'll see what happens as we goes along. Thank you, dear Flo, as always, behind the scenes. And that's going to close out today's show as we go into our closing remarks. What you got for closing remarks for today's show, Danny D?
Just want to thank the fans and listeners, man. We're back. Keep on spreading the love. Much appreciation to you guys, man. Much love.
Thank you, dear Danny D, as always. How about you, Flo? What you got for closing remarks for today's show?
Anyway, I want to thank all the listeners, old and new. I want to thank both of you gentlemen for allowing me part of this great show. Listeners, we're all over the place. iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify. Definitely give us a positive review and a shout out. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you, dear Flo. As always, much appreciated. Thank you to our listeners. Couldn't do it without you guys. Couldn't do it without my co-host. Please subscribe to the show on YouTube. Like you say, Spreaker, iTunes. We everywhere you want to find your favorite podcast. Please spread the word. As always, got a lot more coming to you in the next episode. Got a few more segments, guys. Going to talk about it in the next episode. Thanks again. Happy New Year to everybody. See ya.